So I made a video a while back describing the use of the original notepad, how I like to copy an ATIS, copy a clearance, copy taxi instructions, etc. I feel like this notepad is pretty simple and self-explanatory. I don't necessarily need to make another video describing how to use this one. However, these two brand new notepads I think do yield a little bit of explanation, and that's what we're going to cover right here in this video.
I'm Josh, a pilot and flight instructor who loves the sky, sharing it with those around me and using it to see the world from a new perspective. Flying can seem super complex, but I make it my mission to promote safe practices while enjoying the beauty this world has to offer. Subscribe to climb into the cockpit on future adventures. This is Aviation 101.
0991 New Orleans, clearance cleared to the Foley Airport via asphalt on departure, maintain 2000.
Hey everyone, Josh here from Aviation 101. This is kind of a new type of content that I'm going to try to start implementing on the YouTube channel a lot more often. Eventually, I'd like to get to a bi-weekly basis. Basically, what I'm getting at is I plan to still produce these long-form adventure series episodes, but on the odd weeks, or the even weeks, however you want to look at it, I plan to release these like 5 to 10 minute topical videos about all kinds of stuff. What's the human psychology behind a checklist, and how do we properly use them? How to execute an effective pre-flight passenger briefing? How to properly clean an airplane? The anatomy of a perfect CTAF call. What does elevator trim really do? How much does it really cost to own and operate a Cessna 172? Crew resource management, what does that even mean? Now, if you can think of any topics that you would love to dive into on Aviation 101, leave them down in the comments below. I will add them to my list and we will start tackling those bi-weekly, hopefully starting in January. The content on Aviation 101 will always be free to consume, but it never has been free to create. I've got to give a major shout out to Aviation 101 sponsors. This content, the type of flying I do, everything would just not be possible without their unwavering support and loyalty. And without flying eyes, I certainly would not be able to see quite as well. Use code Aviation101 for 10% off. So I made a video a while back describing the use of the original notepad. I feel like this notepad is pretty simple and self-explanatory. I don't necessarily need to make another video describing how to use this one. However, these two brand new notepads I think do yield a little bit of explanation, and that's what we're going to cover right here in this video. So IFR is hard enough with all the complex procedures and techniques and everything. Now throw on top of that complex clearances and instructions that you really need to write down in order to remember and read back correctly. This IFR flight notepad is designed to be like a script that you fill in the blanks and then you can just read it right back. Every radio call and every clearance, they have a format, they have a structure. And that's what I hope this notepad will reinforce both in the IFR training environment and in just the real world IFR environment. It says information alpha, wind 020 at 6, visibility 10, sky conditions scattered at 2,500. So you'd circle scattered and I would just write 2.5. The letters here stand for clear, few, scattered, broken, overcast. Temperature 10, dew point 05. Visual approaches in use, runway 35. 80901, you're cleared to the Austin Executive Airport, which is EDC, via radar vectors to Athos, Victor 568, San Antonio, Victor 550, Syntex, direct. Climb and maintain 4,000, expect 6,000 in 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency was 125.4, squawk 0214. Just like a script. Cleared to Echo Delta Charlie via radar vectors to Athos, Victor 568, San Antonio, Victor 550, Syntex, then direct. Climb and maintain 4,000, expect 6,000 in 10. Departure frequency 125.4, squawk 0214. Taxi to runway 17 via Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Juliet. Cross runway 8, hold short of 13. And just to make it a little bit more noticeable, I like to circle the hold short instruction. So then you would just read it back just as it says on the notepad here. Taxi to runway 17 via Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Juliet, cross runway 8, hold short of 13. Departure briefing, you basically just write down where you're departing from. So like, let's say we're departing from runway 8, intersection Bravo. Distance required for the Skyhawk, let's just say 1,000 feet, and we'll whip out ForeFlight here. If you're taking off runway 8 on intersection Bravo, about 3,500 feet remaining. So we need 1,000 feet. We've got 3,500 feet available. If we're taking off on Bravo, we're gonna cross 13, 1,400 feet down the runway. If we only need 1,000 feet, we should certainly be airborne by then. So the abort plan is reject the takeoff if not airborne by runway 13. 3-1. Initial altitude in the clearance was 4,000. The initial heading or fix will be given to us by tower. If they say proceed on course, then our initial fix is going to be Athos. It's very likely they'll say clear for takeoff, fly runway heading. Approaching our destination, you write down, we're doing the ILS 13. Our DA is 793 feet. Minimum safe altitude is 2,600 feet. Destination airport information, you write that down just like your departure. That is how I like to use the IFR flight notes pad. Now onto the flight lesson lesson notepad. Really thinking about what would help a CFI stay organized in the cockpit and really prepare for lessons effectively. You know, especially bouncing between somebody who's training for instrument and then somebody who's doing their commercial stuff, and then maybe working with somebody who just wants to do some ground reference maneuvers for their private. If you're not a full-time flight instructor like myself, sometimes the numbers and the standards get kind of mixed up. Was it plus or minus 100 feet on the altitude? And wow, what was the airspeed? I think it was plus 10, minus 5 knots. So I found myself scrubbing through the ACS and picking the areas of operation that we're gonna work on a particular lesson. And then in shorthand, writing all the knowledge, risk management, and skill elements of that area of operation. I found myself writing out this exact format multiple times on one sheet of paper. Each one of these boxes is the exact format of any particular area of operation in the Airman Certification Standards. Lesson title, you know, we could just say it's pattern work. First task is short field ops. So then we would go in the ACS and we would write down the knowledge elements, risk management elements, and the skills. The skills are going to be the standards, like land on or under 200 feet after your touchdown point. Student or the CFI can write down any notes that they want to debrief after the lesson. And then you just repeat that 3 times. You know, this next one could be soft field ops. And then again, we'd go in the ACS, go arounds. Same thing in the ACS, knowledge, risk management, and skills. Go in that document and just paraphrase. Write down the key points to touch on and make sure that you remember during the flight. And then of course you can reference this in the flight too. I did originally name this the CFI lesson notepad. I changed it to flight lesson notes because this is equally as valuable for a student as it is for a CFI. As a student pilot for private, instrument commercial, and on, you should know your standards by heart. Ask your CFI ahead of time what area of operations y'all are gonna work on the next lesson. The CFI should be briefing you on that anyways, and you can go into the ACS yourself and jot down all of these elements, totally familiarize yourself with the exact standards that you're gonna be tested on during your check ride. Each notepad has 50 sheets with a manila cardstock backing glued at the top. Just tear away each sheet whenever you're done with it. I am really happy about how all of these notepads have come out. They have certainly done a great service in my own flight instruction and flying, and I hope they will do the same in yours. Check them all out at aviation101.com/store. Be sure to like this video if you did, subscribe if you haven't, ring that notification bell so you don't miss the future content coming out. I'll be looking for your recommendations on topical content down in the comments. And until next time, you know the drill. Stay happy, healthy, current, but most importantly, stay proficient. Get out and go fly.